Okay, okay, so I walked out here to check on tomatoes, which are looking good. But right here, if you'll look, we have our main stem right here, an arm right here, and in the armpit, we have a sucker. And we're just gonna pick that little dude right off. Up here we got an armpit. This is the sucker. So main stem, arm. Right here in the corner we got a sucker. And then we got a big one up here. Okay, so right here we got the main lead, a branch, and a big old sucker. So we're just gonna pick him off. And then right here we got some blooms coming in. These guys are still way too little to be blooming. So I'm gonna pick the blooms off. You gotta be careful up here though, because if you accidentally pull the top out of your tomato, it will stop growing and you'll just have this little short dwarf bushy tomato. So like, this one's kind of hard. And this is some of them that I mostly leave alone. All right, so you see he's nice and curvy. Here's our main stalk, but then we get up here and it's like, where's our main stalk and where's not? That's a big old fat sucker. There's a sucker. There's a sucker. There's a little one coming in right there. Okay. Over here, we have our main, our arm, and a sucker. Our main, an arm, and a sucker. You do not have to sucker your tomatoes. It is perfectly okay if you do not sucker your tomatoes. You can actually save the suckers and plant them. They will grow roots and make tomatoes. But where we live, it is very hot, humid, and it rains a lot. These tomatoes need a lot of airflow. So it just helps with disease and blight and rot if you keep your plants suckered. Like I said, it is super majorly important to know what is a sucker when you get towards the top, because if you pop the top out of this tomato, it is done. These little guys over here laying down. They're big enough they need to be tied up. Let's try to get him through this wire a little bit. Like these lower branches down here, I'll even pop these off. Anything that touches the ground can come off. That is just begging for blight and rust and disease. And you want as much airflow between these branches as you can get. It's like these guys, they're touching the ground. We'll twist them off. A little sucker right there. There's a sucker right there. Oh, no, that was a sucker on a sucker. I keep popping the blooms off these guys just because they're so darn tiny and they're already trying to bloom. That is a sign of stress this quickly. I mean, it's not super early on blooming, but these guys are just really stressed out. They got transplanted late, they got that little bit of cold, and then it's just rained 40 days and 40 nights, so they are they're begging for mercy. Which is the top? Okay, so like right here, I'm not 100% positive. I think this is the top. Yeah, that's a sucker right there. That's all I do. These guys they're actually not looking too terrible. They're reaching. They're growing. It wouldn't hurt their feelings if we got some nice warm sunshine without a little rain. Tomatoes are not very not very big fans of having a lot of wet, and we've got a lot of wet, so it definitely wouldn't be sad if we could get a couple of days without some torrential downpours. Alright, well that's that. I guess I should finish this row. But I need to go check on chicken. These guys are the start of the cherry tomatoes, and I actually do not sucker my cherry tomatoes, even though I just suckered that one. You can. I just don't. You can't hardly kill a cherry tomato, so I don't mess with them. I set them and forget them. We'll be covered up in cherry tomatoes before long. But I already have some kind of bug. Ugh. I have a fence up. I know it's not the chickens, so I don't know what is doing this. It's not like I can dust for anything right now because of the stupid rain. I'll be out here hunting for bugs.